Hey people, it's your boy Lucas Invader here, and I'm back doing another video. It's been a while since I've done something, and I thought I'd do it on the reason why I haven't been making videos, and that's for Pokemon Masters. Y'all see the JoJo reference in the back? But yeah, the game has been out for 23 days exactly now. I've been playing since it first came out, and that's kind of the reason why I've been a little lazy with my videos as of late. So I just thought I'd mesh the two together and say, hey, I think I kind of get this game a little bit better than most people. So I just wanted to make a tier list. And with that, I think it's over 66 units out right now. With that, I don't really have the most understanding of all of them. I think I'm only missing 11, a couple of 5 stars, and then mostly 4 stars. I think I have all the 3-star units from pools. But we're gonna break it up into the groups that the roles that they're put in, and we're gonna start with supporters since it has the least amount of units in it at the moment. So how I want to do it is the units that you usually get free first. And these 4 right here that you get through the story mode, of course. And then the rest that you get from the pool, starting from least rarity to most rarity. So with that, I guess we're just going to start off with Misty. And Misty is super okay. Bubble Beam is kind of useless because of Hydro Pump. But especially Hydro Pumps has its uh, downside too as well, because it has a 1 in 5 chance of missing, especially too if you're going against any kind of unit that raises its evasiveness. I can't really remember a battle that does, but I mean that's even more likely chance for it to miss. I mean it could go up to like a 1 in 5, a half chance that it'll miss or it'll hit, like it's a coin flip if it'll hit. So with that though, X special defense up is cool. A lot of units have that. I think a couple of more have it. And catch us if you can is definitely a top 10 to 15 move in this game. I think it's super good. It raises your own unit's evasiveness or your teammates' evasiveness and gradually heals them. So if you're going against somebody pretty tough and you don't really have anybody else you can throw out there, you can just kind of throw Misty on your team to be able to buff one of the stronger units that one of your teammates bring. And with that too, Healing Hand is super good too. It's actually came in clutch for me a couple of times in the past. But with that, even though Misty has pretty okay defense and special defense, she's kind of hard to keep alive with her low health. So I think Misty is right about here, and what she's one of the first 5 units in the game that you get. So that's a okay placing for a 3-star and one of the beginners that you get. Now we're gonna go to Rosa, and Rosa, obviously people thought she was God day one, and she is really good. Obviously, Time to Energize is the move that gives you more move gauges, of course, and X special attack if you have some kind of nuker on your team. Her stats are just really good. Look at that special defense, man. That's over 200. I think that's the highest or one of the highest. And look, her regular defense is nothing to sneeze at, and she has pretty high health. So she's pretty much a tank. She can take those hits for you. She'll last definitely through the first wave of a team sync move if it's going against somebody, one of the online things that they do. But with that too, Stalwart is okay, especially too if you are trying to use her late game. She's gonna last longer and longer and longer. So with that, her being the first free unit that you get, that's a 5-star. I think this is a great spot to put her. She really helped early game, but now you see her slipping off a little bit to me. But she's still really good. I used her just earlier for the grass up attack, and I think if you use all 3 roses, you can definitely beat this dude with just all 3 roses and maybe just a backup just to have there. Skyla, let's go to her. She's okay. I mean, where is she at? I can't even find her. She's all right. Take Flight is okay. I usually don't really like units that buff speed because it's hard to tell what speed does in this game. Obviously, it's used for the rate that you can hit opponents, in regular Pokemon, but it's kind of hard to tell how it's used in this game specifically. Potion is okay, but man, look at this Aerial Ace and Gust. She just can't attack. Look, I think this is one of the couple of units too that they use to where they give her okay movesets. They give her okay special attack and regular attack, but the actual move itself is trash. So with that, she doesn't have much use. She has haste, right? So it doesn't lower her speed, can't get lowered, which I said I truly don't get in this game. So I think we're gonna go on the first C tier. Like I said, I don't, well, not C tier, but one of the she's kind of hard to use, but she can definitely be coming clutch for you, or you can have some availability for it when the time comes. She's weak against Rock, so you obviously know the best unit in the game, like in Rock, is just going to have a field day with her. So that's the first unit I'm going to throw down there. And with that being the case with her, Cheren would be the perfect person to go to next. This is crazy to me that he's actually a free unit, to be honest with you. Look at these stats. Obviously, his special attack isn't good, but he doesn't have any special attack moves. Fake plays really well with anybody that can poison or burn, like Flannery, or any of the two ninjas, or whoever can paralyze, like Drake. He just plays well with everybody. He has full heal, so none of your teammates or none of your units get any extra damage from him from burn or I think confusion still works, but paralysis. Outrun 4 is really crazy, especially in solo play, because he can be a tank and he can take hits, and then your move gauge can just refill automatically by itself even faster. Cheren is kind of crazy that he's a free unit, but for sure he is definitely the first S tier that we have here. Now going on next to Roxanne. Oh, and I didn't even talk about apply yourself. Raises the move gauge and then gradually heals yourself. I take gradually heals yourself maybe even higher than a potion or just outright healing somebody, because each move you're going to be getting health back. It's just, of course, it's what, 39 or 49, I think. But if you're steady on top of it, if you're attacking, you will be getting your health back. So it's crazy that Cheren is a free unit. I mean, the first battle was kind of hard with what you have, so I guess I kind of get it. Next, we'll be going to Roxanne. Roxanne is kind of a iffy unit as well, too. Of course, she has Ancient Power, but that's the only attacking move that she has, and it has a very small chance of buffing all of her stats, all of her base stats. It's just kind of hard to use her, especially, too, since she has 3 supporting moves. Study Buddies is okay, right? There it goes again with the speed and X defense on, obviously other units have it. But Wide Guard, either two things to make Roxanne better is that either Ancient Power has a moderate chance of raising all of her stats, or a Wide Guard can be used against sync moves. Since it can't be used against sync moves and it's only used against regular AoE attacks, attack on everyone attacks, it's kind of hard to use her or to have a spot for her on the team when you can just outright buff their defense or special defense and help units stay alive. So with that, we're going to be throwing her here too. I think she's a little better than Skyla. And yeah, I'm going to try and put this in the order as best as I can. Next, we have Surfer Boy. Not really much to say. What's his name? Marlin. This is literally what I wrote on my paper. He's just kind of like again with Skyla. He has okay moves, but then his attack and special attack aren't worth anything for him to even use it. I mean, well, just his attack. And he's just kind of hard to put on a team to unbending. Defense cannot be lowered. Apparently, he's supposed to be a tank, right? But there are outright better tanks at him that do his job better than he does. So, yeah, not even going to spend too much time on him. And Marley, I think Marley is super slept on. You have to literally use her against which EX event is it that you have to use? I think it's against Erica, right? You cannot beat Erica if you do not have at least one Arcanine on your team. It's super hard because she has that. What is the move called again exactly? The one that takes away status conditions. Bloop, bloop, bloop. We're standing strong for sure. It lasts, like 5 turns or 6 turns or whatever. Of course, like I said, speed, I'm kind of iffy on because it's like whatever there. But with that itself, I think that move alone bumps her from B tier to A tier. It's definitely a super good move. If she didn't have this move and it was just some whatever other kind of move, I think she'd definitely be here with Misty. But for sure, she's definitely A tier with that move alone. And look at her stats. Her stats are decent. Her HP is in the 500s. She can take hits. Her defense is pretty good. Her special defense is pretty good. Flamethrower and Flame Wheel are at okay. They just have a small chance of burning, so that's decent. But if you want to burn somebody, obviously you can just use Flannery and then use Charon exactly again with Facade and get double the damage for only 2 move gauge bar. I mean, come on now, Charon. But Marley is okay. She's decent. Next, we're going to go to, I think, is going to be one of my hottest takes. I think Cheryl is definitely super slept on. Hyper Voice, for it to be 75 AoE damage, attack on everyone, move, that's nothing to sleep at. I mean, I don't know how much Houndoom's is. I mean, I guess we can check it real quick. $46, and hers is 75, right? Did I just read that correctly? I'm hoping I didn't just read that correctly. Yeah, that's nothing to sneeze at, and it has 100% accuracy. Obviously, if they raise their race and if they have a chance to get out of it, and all out of patience. Even though I said I like moves that gradually heal better than moves that just outright just heal uh teammates. This not only does it just heal like a potion, but it also raises their defense and special defense sharply by 2. So with that, you can also get their health back up to regular, and you can they'll be able to live longer. And if you have, like I said, with the same thing with Misty, if you have a unit that is better than Blissey and can attack the uh, person you're going against even better, you can use 2 all out of patience on her. And look at Lycanroc. Lycanroc lowers his defense by 4, right? And then if you use 2 all out of patiences on him, he's right there back at normal and he'll be able to take hits longer. So I think she is super slept on. She also has Healing Hand. Like I said, that came in clutch for me. And I think people were shitting on her day 1 or week 1. I think she is definitely up here in A plus rank, almost S tier. I don't think she's Charon ability yet, and she's a tank. Even though that defense is laughable, I think that's one of the lowest in the game. She is a tank because look at that health. I think she has the highest health. I think that's right to the usual games, and her special defense is going to keep her. With the EX Rock event, before I had Olivia, I would put her first, and hopefully I'd get a Lycanroc with me and Olivia with me, and then I just have her heal him and then raise his defense to where he would be able to stay alive longer. And Blissey can take special attacks, even though she can't take regular attacks because her regular defense is low as hell. She can take special attacks because it's one of the best in the game. So yeah, I think she is super slept on. I don't know how people feel about it right now, but I know people were shitting on her day 1, week 1, but that is definitely not the case in my opinion. We have Marley next. I think, right? She plays well with Lycanrocs if you can get them to cooperate right, which is kind of the thing, of course, because I think it's kind of a thing that people don't work well in teams online because they're just so stuck in their ways of how they usually play. But if you get her with a Lycanroc, he can attack that first turn because you're going to raise their crit, and it's a sure hit. And what Olivia has in 1 of 5 chance of missing, so of course it'll be a sure hit. Same thing with a Tyranitar. He doesn't have to use his early game. You can use her and attack. But her passive move is cool. She can kind of stay alive better because of Drain Punch and her passive skill that she takes moves better, reduces damage in a pinch by physical attacks. That doesn't say anything for special attacks, but she has the ability to stay alive longer, but I don't think that really puts her at that. Her stats are and especially her HP. Just if her HP was higher, she'd probably be here, but it's kind of hard to put her on a team because people don't play right. By yourself, she might be better, but when you're playing online, people don't pay attention to what you're doing too, so it's kind of hard to use her. Lisa, I think, is the best defensive unit in the game. Not really defensive, but unit that you can just put on your team solo and just help buff. Lycanroc does not have to buff himself with X attack. She can buff him for him to 4. She can do it for 1, and then he gets up to a 6. And then all he has to worry about is boosting his crit and sure hit rate. X special defense is obviously great too because usually most online stuff is special attacks, and her passive skills help her to where if she stays alive last, that she'll be able to hold her own and hopefully get the clutch out for you by herself. So, of One Mind is one of the best moves for sure because you don't have to worry about buffing that unit by itself. He can just do it. You can do it for her with Lisa. So, I think that's good enough to put her in A tier for sure. Drake is also one of those weird cases to where his stats are kind of okay, decent. His HP is okay, but he boosts your defense, both of your defenses significantly. But I think one of the best things about him is that his weakness is not dragon. So with Salamence being a dragon, he can do spam Dragon Claw for only 260 damage. I'm sure this is going to weigh in a lot better than it will when Lance comes out and Red comes out with Charizard X, Mega Charizard X. So with that, for now, he's not really okay. Terrify is cool too, obviously lowering the attack of the opponent when he first comes out. And you can kind of spam that, switch out, switch out, switch out with him and probably the Viola to lower their attack and special attack at the same time. Well, what does Viola lower? Viola lowers. Oh yeah, it's Terrify too. So you can just use them both together on a team, so you can lower their attacks 3 times in a row. Boom, it's down to 6. So Drake, for now, he's but I'm sure when, like I said, Lance comes out and Red with Mega Charizard X, he'll definitely be bumping up a bit. Maybe for matchups, I can put him here kind of because he's not that great because he only buffs your defense and your move gauge, both your defenses and move gauges. But to say that he's just not outright good is kind of, trash to say because he is good. It's just that he'll be better down the line when more units come out, when more dragon units come out, because he won't be taking damage. So for those, he'll probably be up here. But for now, I guess we'll leave him here. Matchup dependent. That's really just what I'm putting him down there for. And lastly, well, for the units I have, Phoebe. I mean, what is there much to say about Phoebe? She's just great all around, man. We're just not even going to waste too much time. Dire hit all. If you can get somebody that's paying attention to you, you can buff their critical hit rate for them. Her passive skill to where she can't get crit hit. I think that's one of the top 3 passive moves in the game. Pass it on is just the icing on top of the cake with her, to where she can pass on her crit rate to the teammate coming up behind you. And so too with Unbreakable Bonds, you can buff your attack as well. So if you have Lycanroc coming up behind her, all you have to do is, which kind of sucks too, is that if you do have pass it on, it only does up to 1. So even if you have 3, it only half it into 1, which kind of sucks. It should do 2, but it's whatever. But it's still cool. At least you don't have to waste that extra one for it to get up to 3. Unbreakable Bonds, of course, again. And then Double Edge. I really don't like using Double Edge a lot because, I mean, of course, she hurts herself. So what I usually do is I do Shadow Punch a couple of times. And then when I get targeted, I do Unbreakable Bonds. When I get targeted, I do Double Edge, and then I do Unbreakable Bonds. Then I go back to spamming Shadow Punch because I want to keep her alive as much as I can, to where even though I'm not doing more outright damage, I'm also lowering my Sync Pair move to where I can use it sooner, and also helping out with the joint Sync Pair shit that they have. So Phoebe, obviously, just outright is one of the better units right now. It'd be cool to see when they do Mega Salamence or her evolution as well too, with a couple of these people here. Who else do I think could get little extra buffs to just put icing on top of the cake? But yeah, that's just how I feel about the supporters right now. Drake, like I said, is probably the most iffiest because obviously if I want to play somebody just to buff their defense and special defense, I can play Cheryl instead, to be honest. But Drake for sure is going to come in handy. So really, honestly, he could be here later when more units come out. But for now, we're going to have him here. But yeah, that's just how I feel about the supporters. Next, I'll probably do the tech role because it has what, one less than strike. And also two strike, I don't have a lot more of the units than I do for tech. So yeah, that's just my opinion on it right now for the time being. Let me know how you guys feel about it as well too. This is, if you want to add me, I mean, I don't have my shit, whatever. It's right there. So if you want to add me, we can play together and then we can get it popping. I also want to do videos on top 5 strategies, things to pay attention to while you're playing, especially online, because I think that's one of the worst things in my mind when I'm playing with somebody that pisses me off the most is when somebody's not paying attention to what I do and then going off of that. So for sure, watch out for that video coming out next. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in.